Welcome to Rhonda Sue Crafting for You. Today is January 2nd, 2020, and we're going to make this cute little project today. Inside here, we're putting a little, it's actually a moon pie. And this is one of the bigger ones. I did want to design it as a smaller moon pie, but this is all I could find. So we went ahead and designed a box around this, and it's super cute. We are using the Over the Moon stamp set and Everything Festive, and we're using this Be My Valentine image here. And then we're using the cow image with holding the flower and Over the Moon for You in this little grass stamp. Cute stamp sets. So the supplies that you're going to need today will be designer series paper. And this designer series paper is called, it comes from the From My Heart suite. And this is called From My Heart Specialty Designer Series paper. And there are a lot of beautiful papers in this pack. I'll show you. I've already been cutting on mine. I'll show you the designs. So we have this one, which we're using today. And some of the images or designs have foil on them, and they feel a little bit embossed. There's the back side. And I've already been cutting on this foil one, and there's the back side for that one. Lots of cute little hearts and stripes. Some of this I can see carrying over to birthday cards and birthday projects. I love these lines. Hearts. These are some more hearts with the arrows. Oh, that's the foil again. Oh, look at this one. There is a heart punch that comes with the suite. You don't have to get it, but it does come with the suite. And there's one that has a ruffled edge and one with a smooth edge, and these will cut these hearts out. So it'll punch them out. Just nice and handy. Back side of that one. This one I love. And then there's some more hearts that the punch will cut those out. And that's it. So really pretty paper. And I do see some of this carrying over to birthday cards. So the supplies that you'll need today to make our treat will be a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 piece of designer series paper. You'll need 2 of those. You will also need 2 pieces of 1 1/4 by 4 1/4 for the sides of your box, 2 of those. A piece of scrap Flirty Flamingo cardstock. For stamping, Whisper White cardstock, and that's where we're going to put our image on that. And another piece of Flirty Flamingo cut to 10 1/2 by 6 1/2, and we're going to put our score lines on this paper right now. So here's our Simply Scored scoring board. We're going to place this on the portrait side. We're going to score at 1 1/2 inches on both sides. So to go down one side, turn it, and score down the next side. Then on the landscape side, we'll score it at 4 1/2. Turn it again, and score it at 4 1/2 again. Okay, so put that away. We're done with that. Now we're going to fold on all the score lines, and let's fold those and then flatten them out with our bone folder really good. Make sure we've got good creases, because that'll make a prettier box for us. So folding on all the score lines. Now we're going to make a few cuts, not a lot. But see how you have these score lines. These are our 4 1/2 inch score lines here. We're going to cut out these tabs. So just cut, and then cut a sliver out of the side. It'll give us a cleaner box. here, and a sliver out of this side. Turn it, do the same thing on the opposite side. Alright, now our adhesive is going to be placed on these tabs on the opposite side of the box. So you have your box laid out, pull these in, and you'll be putting adhesive here and here. I recommend the tear and tape, and I recommend using plenty because you want your box to stay together. Okay, and then on the sides of our box, we're going to place tear and tape here, 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 and here. With the exception of the glue, the liquid glue, I'm pretty generous with adhesive. On the liquid glue, you know, you kind of have to get the knack on how much to place. It doesn't take a whole lot of the liquid glue. Sometimes you can over glue and then your paper wrinkles or falls apart. And I would say more like, you know, like this is copier paper. It's definitely going to wrinkle into that if you put an excessive amount. The cardstock holds up pretty well. Okay, so we're going to remove the back side of the tear and tape. And I'm just using the multi-purpose tool, Stampin' Up's multi-purpose tool, to get under that backing and peel off to expose the adhesive underneath. Okay. So, let me know what your New Year's resolutions are. I have a few. Mine are to concentrate more on my Stampin' Up business. By the way, on the non-adhesive side, you're going to pull that up and attach it to the tabs. And I use my flat table as a guide to help me get this straight onto my bottom. I think that makes sense. So I could pick it up and do it here like that, but for me it seems like it's more steady for me to use my tabletop as a guide to get it right on there. Now, I have made boxes before where I've put the tear and tape on there and goofed, and when it attaches, it is there, and it's pretty hopeless getting it apart. So at this point, I'd be very careful when you do pull this up to make sure that the side you're not working with doesn't stick, or you'll get something, well, you'll get a mess. So don't do that. So once again, I'm using my tabletop to help me line up my box. And when it's stuck, it's stuck. See, I didn't quite get it in the right spot there, but that's okay. It's not as bad. You should see the last box I made. It's in the trash. We all make mistakes, right? Goof ups. Makes us human. Okay. And then just kind of burnish those big pieces down, making sure that they stick. So there's our box. The next thing we're going to do is put on our designer series paper, and we can glue that down or use snail adhesive, and for quickness today I'm just going to use snail adhesive and place it on the side of our box. Now let's get the other side. I like the snail adhesive. Makes things go really fast. Okay, and here's our other side of the box. And then you need to look at where your box went together and realize that this is the back of your box. So concentrate on making sure that you get your image on the front of the box where the seams are not showing. That was just a side note. And now here is our there. And the last piece of designer series paper here. And I'm almost out of snail. Gonna have to replace that pretty quick. Alright. Okay. Now, we're going to stamp our image and color it. And I used the Stamparatus. So here's our Stamparatus, and I have the images already placed on here. This needs a little bit of cleaning, but we're not going to worry about it right this minute. It will not come out on our image. And now we'll place our Whisper White cardstock. Place that down. And I just eyeball it. I know that I need to be able to get this image on here to cut it out, right? So that's about right there. Place your magnet down. What I did to get my image placed, because this is 3 different stamps. So I grabbed my scratch paper, placed it on here, and then I placed my stamp, my major stamp down, and then all of my little extra pieces. And I started placing them down until I had them lined up the way I wanted, and I just kept stamping on the scratch paper. So that's how I did that. I plan on making several of these, so I didn't want to be just grabbing a stamp, and when I can do 3 stamps at one time with the Stamparatus. So I'm just using the Stays On, no, I'm using Memento, not Stays On, Memento ink. The reason I'm using Memento ink is because it won't smear when I use the Stampin' Blend markers. So you'll see in a minute what I'm talking about. Okay, that's pretty good. Alright, so we're done with this. I'm going to set that aside. We're going to be doing some coloring. First I want to put some grass on here because she looks like she's just standing in midair, right? So let's put some grass just around the bottom of her feet. Okay, so she doesn't look like she's standing up in the air, right? Okay. The next individual stamp we're going to do is in Real Red, and this is going to be for our little tag that we put on our treat that's inside this box, and we'll just stamp it over here. Be My Valentine. Okay, so we've got our stamping done out of the way. Now let's do some coloring. So we're going to be using light Pretty Petal. We're going to be using light Daffodil Delight, dark Daffodil Delight, Call Me Clover Stampin' Right marker, Flirty Flamingo Stampin' Right marker, Wink of Stella, and Dark Crumb Cake. So these are our colors that we're going to be using in our sweet little cow. So with the Stampin' Right markers, we're going to just do a tad bit of pink in her ear. And then her little nose. And color in the petals on the flower. Now you can use a rhinestone for the center of the flower. There are embellishments that come with this suite if you order the whole suite, and I can't put my finger on those embellishments right now, but they're super cute. They're faceted gems, and I was looking at them and I thought, what does that remind me of? And they remind me of the little Apollo 13 capsule. Yeah, I'm a nerd when it comes to space. I do love aeronautics, and I am a air show fanatic. Love to go to air shows. I love to see the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds fly, but I'm running off on a tangent now. Anyway, so yeah, I'm a little nerdy that way. So color in your moon with the light Daffodil Delight, and then we're going to do a little bit of contouring or shadowing. Shadowing is probably the better. Just to give that moon a little bit of interest. So go in here with your dark Daffodil Delight and just kind of color in the bottom of the moon and then go back over the top, and this is going to make those colors blend. And I also, to help it blend, and I also just like the shimmer, I put Wink of Stella, and you probably can't see that in the video, but you do see it on your project, and the Wink of Stella will help those colors blend a little bit more and just gives it some shimmer and shine. And then for our leaves, I've got Call Me Clover. I used Call Me Clover for the grass too. Typically, I like to use Old Olive or Garden Green, but they didn't seem, those colors, those greens, didn't seem to look too good with these colors that I'm using today. And I used the Garden Green, and the leaves just kind of, it was just too dark. So, okay, so let's color a little tuft at the top of her head. And the spots, tip of her little tail, and her hooves. She's pretty cute, pretty sweet. Okay, then this is the light petal pink. I'm going to go back in with the dark Daffodil Delight and color in her boots. Give her some cute little yellow boots. Alright, she's done. Now, get those out of the way, and I'm going to bring in the Big Shot. And with our layering squares, we're going to cut out this image, and then if I can find my little rectangle, we're going to cut out the Be My Valentine image. I'm going to try to cut these out at the same time. See if we can do it. It may not want to stick for me. No, we'll get it separately. Okay, so let's put this in here. Okay, add an angle a little bit, because when it goes under the rollers, if you put it under there straight, the rollers really pop loud. Okay. So let's cut this image out here. That's one. So put that off to the side. Now we're going to cut out the Be My Valentine. Get it on a little bit of an angle. It's holding pretty good there. Let's roll this one out. Alright, now with our Flirty Flamingo paper, cardstock, we're going to use the scalloped edge and cut out that square. So these squares come out of the layering squares, and then this little rectangle comes out of the stitched rectangle set on the for die cuts. In case you were wondering. Of course, if you have any questions, you can always go to my website and email me. Oh, here are the faceted gems. Aren't they pretty? Just shine and shimmer. Love them. All right. Now, while we're here, let's punch a hole in here. And you can do this with a hole punch, a handheld hole punch, or you can just do it with the end of your multi-purpose tool. And you'll need a piece of thick foam. Just go in there and punch a hole, okay? And then you'll have some other supplies you need to use, by the way. Just some ribbon. This is the flax ribbon, and I just pull a piece off and poke it through that hole. And we will come back to this in just a minute because I'm going to show you how to package your treat. Okay, so now we're going to glue this image to our back image, our accent color. And I'm going to put Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of that. So one on each corner and one in the center. And that's going to go on top of our box. You can put it in the center or towards the top. I like to put it a little bit towards the top. And then since we have those out, let's put a faceted gem on there. I think a red one would be sweet. Some glue on the back of that. Just a little. Don't do too much. Just drop it down on your flower. And let that dry. It doesn't take very long. Okay. That's those little guys. Now, looking at our treat, I wanted to use cellophane. I have cellophane gusseted bags coming, but they haven't gotten here in time for me to do this demonstration. And I really wanted to get this done because I was just excited to show y'all this cute little box. So I used some leftover tissue wrap that I had from Christmas. So I just picked out one piece of the wrap, and obviously looking at it, it's just too big. So what I did is an old trick that we had a long time ago. Remember when we used to have to make a circle and you would fold your paper and fold and fold and fold, and then you would come out with something kind of like a circle. Well, that's what we're going to do today, just to decrease the size and then make it look somewhat neat across the top of your box. So here we are. We folded down as much as we felt like we could, and then I came about an inch down, maybe 2 inches, and cut here. And it gives us some little points. The other one I did a little differently. I cut it where it didn't give points, but I was thinking maybe I might like it to have little points going like that. So anyway, so you put your moon pie in the center, obviously. Wrap it around. Same old like we've always done. And then take your tag and take the string and tie that around to the back. You can do that as tight as you want it, but just enough to make the top cinch and be pretty, you know. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to snip off the ends. Then we have real red ribbon. I'm going to bring that around to the front and tie a bow. Okay. Here's our bow. And let's trim it a little bit. So Roxy, you get back over there. All right. Now, do a little trimming there, and then slide that into your box that you just made here. And there you go. And actually, I do think it looks a lot prettier when you do it with the points. You could use clear cellophane, you can use clear wrapping, or you can use the gusseted bags that Stampin' Up! Has. But it's cute. I did have it like this, and it was just plain, and there wasn't anything fun about it. And then this seemed to add to it. So anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. And I do have a host code if you want to place an order anything over $50. We are in the middle of celebrations starting tomorrow, January 3rd. For every $50 order, you get to pick out a free item from the celebration catalog. And then here's the host code. If you place a $50 order, you will receive a gift from me. And just do me a favor and send me, since I'm new to using host codes, send me a quick email that you did use the host code. And that will help me get your gift to you. Okay. Now, if you get to a $150 order, don't use the host code. When you get to $150, Stampin' Up! Then allows you to pick out some free items. So every dollar that you spend after 150 will start adding up, and then it will add up to a merchandise total, and it'll tell you how much free merchandise you can get. So they have some sort of algorithm written that will tell you how to do that. So anyway, if you do have any questions, you can get me at rhondalewis.stampinup.net. That is where my online store is as well. And if you have any questions or need anything, always let me know. Thank you so much. Bye.